Welcome to the Jillionaire Show.
TBD.
I just thought of it on the spot. Well, that's one of those things where it's not really important. You just pick one and go with it.
Yeah.
You can change it later.
Yeah.
So that's what this is going to be. Jill's Jillionaire Show.
I love it.
And I have Sidney Unga over here. We're going to talk about real estate. But first, before we dive into that, I really want to know how you got involved in real estate, but before real estate, like your backstory or your talents before real estate, because real estate's more recent.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say?
Yeah. So, oh man, how far back? Like, I've always been into multiple different things. Loved sports growing up. I've always loved film and kind of knew I wanted to do something in that realm. Like when I was in high school, I started kind of my own film production company, started shooting weddings for free, and then built that up. Kind of made like good money in high school doing that. Kind of so I knew.
You did that in high school?
Yeah.
Like the filming?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did weddings like my last 2 years of high school, made good money doing that. Yeah. So that was awesome. Kind of knew I wanted to do something in the film world, but not sure like exactly what it was. So I went to college. I ran track at a Division I level. Like I said, I've always been into sports, competitive, just like chasing goals. Like I've just always had that in me.
Okay.
And then I studied film while I was in school. And
where did you go to school?
Brigham Young University, BYU.
Okay. Go Cougars.
Provo, Utah. Go Cougs. Love it.
Well, we're both from Utah.
Yeah.
Two blonde moms from Utah.
Yeah, can you tell?
Just throwing that out there.
Just the most basic Utah moms here.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, so I went to BYU, studied film there, met my husband there, ran track, and then started really getting serious on like what I wanted to do in the film world.
Okay.
I had a great mentor who was shooting like big time Audi commercials, like high level car commercials, and I was like, that's what I want to do. Like that is so fun. And he's making like awesome money, and so I pretty much just from there was like, that's what I'm going to do. He helped me kind of get a base of a good portfolio of work, and then I just started marketing myself to directors. And yeah.
Were you able to just venture off from that kind of on your own, or did you continue working with the same group, or like with him?
No, so it's like totally there. It's just on your own. So like I would be called a director of photography or a cinematographer.
Okay.
And I work with a director in like making the vision for the film come to life, like all things camera, lighting, framing. And so yeah, I was like living the dream, traveling all over, like doing big time commercials, making good money.
People are going to want to hire you to do their podcasts.
Well,
that's what you could pay. You could be like, I'll set it up.
Yeah.
Could you do that? If
yeah,
you like came in, you're like, I'll get it all set up for you.
That's my problem is like.
You're trying to get away from it.
So yeah, I was like traveling all over. I'm making good money. I'm still traveling and shooting stuff right now. But then we had our first kid, who's now 3.
Okay.
And the whole traveling got less cool and more of a burden. And so now it's like, okay, I get this big job and I see like money signs and like furthering my career. I'm like, this is amazing. I want to take it, but I have to leave my daughter for 2 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what got my wheels turning. I'm like, okay, I love making money. I love film and I want to continue to do it. Like I'll probably do it forever. I just love making impactful films. Like I just think I've always been drawn to it. I love it. But I'm like, how can I make good money and not have to leave?
Still be at home.
Yeah, be at home. And so that's where the real estate came in. Started listening to Bigger Pockets, all the books.
Got it.
The podcast.
That's cool. What would you say, like people that are just getting started, they have that vision of, oh, I want to do that. But then what was your first step, or how did you like really sign the deal? How many deals do you have? And like, what was the first one? The feelings of diving into that first deal.
100%. I feel like, so at the time when I first started learning about it, my husband was in physician's assistant school, PA school.
Okay.
That's a 2.5-ish year thing. And I was, like I said, making money doing the film thing. But I was paying for his school. And so like, we didn't have a lot of money to go put 20% down on something.
Sure.
And I had, up to that point, didn't know anything and was writing everything off in my film business. And so like, I could only show for X amount of income. Couldn't get approved for hardly anything.
Right.
This was in like 2020, peak of the market here in Utah.
You think you're doing something right, being like, I'm writing everything off.
Yeah, but I can't get approved for a loan.
Entrepreneurs have a hard time getting loans to the bank.
Yes, yeah. Which we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, it was me being like, okay, you can get approved for this amount, which was like not a lot. I think it was like $350.
When would you say this was?
This
How many
was
years
2020.
ago? Okay.
Okay,
3 years
so
ago.
I go with all my stuff. I'm like thinking I'm gonna get approved for like 600,000, buy a duplex in Provo, like whatever. He's like $350. I'm like,
In 2020.
this is 2020, peak of the market. Like we started putting offers in, things were going for $100,000 over asking price. Like, and nothing was available for 350. Like it was a, there was just nothing in Provo or like around, I was in Orem at the time. And so I was like, okay, I'm getting bid out on everything by like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm just gonna take matters into my own hands and start knocking on doors.
Totally.
So I literally put my 1-year-old in a stroller and just every day.
That's called hitting the pavement.
Yes,
I
like
understand
I'm gonna
knocking
make it
doors.
happen.
Yes.
So yeah, just started door knocking and at the same time learning everything I could.
How did you find the people when you're door knocking? Like you had a list? Were you just literally knocking on for sale by owner? How were you picking that door to knock on?
Yeah, so at first it was literally just like as far as I could walk from my house with my daughter, right? It was just like anything and everything.
Got it.
And then I realized like, okay, I need to narrow this down. So my sister is a realtor.
Okay.
So she has MLS access.
Oh.
So I started going on through
Smart.
tax records and pinpointing areas/homes that had high equity.
Okay.
So like, it's not gonna hurt them to sell at a discount. They've been there forever. They've got a ton of equity in their house. And so then I started pinpointing and knocking on those doors.
Smart.
Yeah, and one lady in particular knocked on her door. They had, this house forever had a ton of equity in it. And she was like, I was like, in our first initial conversation, she was like, yeah, I've wanted to move, but just haven't wanted to go through the whole people in and out, cleaning up my house.
Yeah.
Like the most ideal person you could talk to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, perfect. Like,
Let me help you.
yeah, you don't have to do anything. My sister will help you find another house. Long story short, we literally decided on 350 as the number. And this house was for sure worth
At least that.
550.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like this was like almost 3,000 square feet.
Interesting what taking action can do.
Yes, but it was a win-win, right? Because they didn't want to have people coming in and out. They didn't want to clean anything up. Didn't want to touch the house. Just wanted to like
Be
move
done.
on. So like it was a total win-win. They didn't want more than 350.
Yeah.
They're like, that's what we want, and it was perfect. And so yeah, that's how it all started. We added a basement apartment to that house. Refinanced, took all of our money out.
Smart.
Still had 6 figures of equity. So eventually took a HELOC from that same house and bought 3 other
Snowball.
properties with it. Yeah, that
Taking
deal,
the person, were you living upstairs?
yeah, we were
So
living
then you
upstairs, down
had
at the bottom.
someone in the basement helping pay for the mortgage.
Not just helping, like paying
Paying
for
for-
the mortgage. We
oh.
were living for free.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and that deal will